massive thank you to Salvador, Smaren, Very, Cody and Brady for subscribing to the channel. If you want to be featured in these clips, make sure you subscribe down below. Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 14 of Season 5 of our F122 My Team Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend, ready for the Dutch GP. 9 races to go of the campaign, and if you missed out on the Belgian Grand Prix last time round, well, yeah, definitely well worth going back and checking it out. But yeah, this weekend though, like I said, we return to Zandvoort. Championship-wise, it's not looking great. Charles Leclerc leading the way, 233 points. Lando Norris still just 13 back on 220. I'm just in the middle of no man's land now on 159 points there. Well, what? 74 back behind my teammate with 9 races to go. It is going to require a small miracle and then another larger miracle if we want to still get back in this championship fight. But we can only do what we can do. I think we've got to get on with it. Let's head out then, ready to the Dutch Grand Prix in Zandvoort. We've got a few tracks that I do still quite enjoy up ahead of us. But yeah, the Netherlands has often been a bit of a topsy-turvy race for myself. Let's get into it. Well, here we are then, diving into qualifying from the Dutch GP. A sunny Dutch GP, at least so far this weekend. And safe to say Charles Leclerc is a man on a mission. Quickest in all three free practice sessions. Try saying that one 5 times over. And quickest in Q1, quickest in Q2. So Charles Leclerc really is setting the pace around this Dutch venue. Looking at a low 109 for pole, but no one so far has been able to get within 4/10 of him, myself included. So we're going to need a worldie of a lap here in Q3. I mean, I'd be quite happy, to be honest, to try and get on the front row, as I think he's coming towards the end of his lap. So we should get confirmation in a second. I'm expecting to see a purple time flash up on the board as we head our way up through the top of the hill. Just trying to get this first lap nice and tidy. No, he's actually pit, so I don't know what's going on there with Charles. Bit of a sloppy first run from myself in Q3, but I have been able to drag an extra set of soft compound tyres into this final qualifying session. Try and keep it low at the banking of the final corner and up towards the start-finish line here in Zandvoort. 9.5 actually is not bad going. Seems like the track is getting a lot quicker though, because no one apart from Charles had done less than a 9.6 up to that point. And now apparently everyone is. Is this Charles Leclerc coming up to the finish line on the minimap? No, he's still pitting. Well, yeah, very clear that Charles Leclerc made a couple of mistakes on his first Q3 run there, has left him down in provisional 10th place, but everyone's still got one last run to go for. Lando Norris then currently is the pole man on a 109.3, just under 2/10 clear of myself. So we've got an opportunity here. If Charles Leclerc can't get the lap in, we could try and snooper away a pole right in the dying stages. Seen anyone else improve then, so we've just got a couple more corners to navigate. Has this been a very, very weird and wonderful qualifying session here from the Dutch Grand Prix out of the final corner up towards the start-finish line? Will this be pole for ourselves? Yes, it is! I don't know how I've done that one, but we will take it. Another pole position on the board. That is 2 in the last 4 Grand Prix. Well, there we go then. Very, very weird and wonderful qualifying session here from Zandvoort. And that lap by Charles Leclerc is about the only non-1 minute 9 I've seen him do all weekend there. But P9 for our teammate. Gasly getting his lap invalidated as well there, so not too sure where he's done that one. But Lando Norris and I starting on the front row. We've got the 2-time Bottas behind us. Let's get into it. Dutch Grand Prix time.
For years, the passionate Dutch fans have been easy to find trackside in races across Europe. Here this weekend, it's even easier to find the Dutch fans as they have a race to call their own once again. A warm welcome to all of our viewers in the Netherlands and around the globe, of course, as we get underway for the Dutch Grand Prix. Zandvoort circuit then, 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left, with plenty of steep camber and elevation changes to keep our drivers on their toes throughout the 2.6 mile lap. And watch out for cars making use of the DRS zone into turn 1 to attempt an overtake. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Mr. Monaco lines up on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Ocon, Sergio Perez, and Stroll, Mick Schumacher, Ricciardo, Leclerc, and Pierre Gasly, Albon, Tsunoda, Oscar Piastri, and Drugovich, Deruvela, Tictum, Robert Schwartzman, and Yuri Vips, Joe, Latifi, Magnussen, and Theo Pourchaire. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And with me today, of course, is Natalie Pinkham. Can we begin by having a chat about Charles Leclerc? That was a great win in the last race, but can they keep that momentum going into this weekend?
Well, there are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out will have boosted their confidence coming into this race.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Hang on a minute. Come on, Crofty and Natalie. I mean, we did go from last to first in that race and then immediately have an engine failure. We're starting on pole this time round. Surely Charles Leclerc is quaking in his boots, especially as he's down in the notorious midfield here at Circuit Park Zandvoort, but was not expecting that on the radar today. Looks like we're going to see a little bit of rain towards the back end of the GP, so I'm going to try and take the mediums and then bolt over onto a set of softs. Often what you see when the rain's meant to be predicted right towards the end of a Grand Prix is it actually moves in earlier. So I'm thinking if we can go mediums potentially to the wet period, we can either then go on to softs and be fine to the end, or of course we could bolt on a set of intermediates if needs must. But yeah, we've still got Lando Norris behind us, so you know we need to try and help our teammate out as best as possible. Looks like Lando is also starting on mediums, so both of us are going to try and hold on to the lead at turn 1. I can't lie, I'm a little bit nervous for this race. This could be a potentially critical Grand Prix for us. I know we're so far away from the championship, but of course Charles Leclerc might really struggle to move his way up the order this afternoon. So if we can try and stay at the front, even if we just take 15 points out of him, it could have major championship ramifications as we head into the final few GPs. I don't know if it's possible to get 2 engine failures in a row on F1 22. I don't think I've had that up to now, so we can only hope, although it definitely used to happen on F1 2021. So let's see what happens. I mean, we might get another engine failure, we might be okay. Dutch Grand Prix time, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go. Trying just to hold on as best as possible there as we head down towards someone, but there goes Bottas around the outside, and we've been lunged. I think that was by Lance Stroll there down at turn 1, so he's clearly had a good start. Bottas swoops through straight into the lead from 3rd place on the grid there. So Lando Norris and I think we were both hoping between us that we could keep those soft compound runners at bay, but apparently not. So the 2-time world champion Valtteri Bottas immediately storms to the front in his Red Bull car, of course still yet to take a win with the Milton Keynes-based squad here on F1 22 since his move at the start of the year. And whoa, Lancelot! That was brave. That was very, very brave. I'm happy to be honest he backed out of it. Of course, we've all heard the stories about Lance's spatial awareness on occasions, but we've survived the start. We've lost a couple of places, but nothing too bad on my standards here on this game. I don't think Charlie Boy has moved up the roster either, so that's probably quite good for us. But we need to try and stick close to Lando early on. But of course, you know, the rain later on this afternoon could really, really spice things up. So I think one of the big things, of course, is just trying to make sure that we get to that wet period there as out of the final corner. Certainly not going to make any noticeable gains on the Ferrari in front there as Bottas leads the way. Not the first time this season, but has been unable to convert it. Lando Norris still dropping away from Bottas a bit up the road there. You can see the gap now just over the 1 second. But unfortunately, having to run such high downforce around this venue, we're not going to stand any chance without DRS. Now we get to wait and see whether it'll work with it. Otherwise, we might spend a lot of time looking at some Velas logos. That's also been noted. Of course, we'll see if we can get a run with the DRS this time round on Lando Norris, but we are not pulling away from Stroll behind us. Definitely have got a little bit extra top end over Lando with the DRS, but yeah, really, we're going to have to be all over his gearbox if we want to try and make anything happen. Bottas, though, still just opening up the gap. It's only lap 5, and I've just realised I got a major issue in this race. How much ERS have I used early on? Of course, so used to on F122 now, just never having to worry about it. Zandvoort, there's next to nowhere you can actually recharge the battery on this game, so I've got to try and go for an all-or-nothing attempt now on Lando, just because it's the closest I've been all afternoon up to now. Still not going to get close enough to the Ferrari. Oh, nudge the grass there. No, 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 no. Nudge the grass and then just locked up and went straight on. So not only have I not been able to make a place, I've just gone and lost one to Sir Lance, and now I need to try and save the battery there as it'll get way out of shape through the first couple of turns. Hopefully it'll only take a few laps to get the battery up to where I need it, but yeah, just suddenly looked down and I had like 15% left. No. No. No, come on. Come on, EA. I literally said at the start of this race, I didn't think it was possible to get 2 mechanical failures in a row. Please don't do this. Not on lap 7. I mean, there's no way to get around it, is there, on this game? At least on F1 2021, sometimes... Is it bad? Hey? I don't know what's happening. Is it just going to go up in smoke? Is it possible to get around it on F122? I've just never had it. I am so confused right now. I'm not worried about Stroll at the moment. Is my engine going to go kaboom? We might have got around it. I genuinely don't know what's going on. I've never had this. I think... Oh no, we've got the understeer glitch. No, 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 no. So for those of you that aren't aware, sometimes, and I genuinely don't think I've ever had it on this game, if you get a minor technical engine problem, just like Stroll's got in front of you, what the game does instead is just makes the car rather understeery for some reason. I think you lose a bit of straight line performance as well, but it effectively just makes the car harder to handle. So I don't think we're out of this Grand Prix. We are just going to really struggle for a few laps. Potentially, might be to the end of the race, I don't know. Well, Lance Stroll and I now on even pegging then in this Grand Prix, both with some issues, but of course that's going to mean it's very, very hard for Checo Perez to try and find a way around this. In fact, we might now suddenly get an opportunity to try and get a run on Lance Stroll there as out of the final corner. Going to try and use everything this wounded power unit's got to the outside of the Canadian. Oh, locked up there, but managed to cadence brake the car on the way in. Can we swoop around the outside? Yes, we will. And back up then into P3 of the Grand Prix. They're both of us struggling, but will Stroll now start leaking positions until his team can get that issue fixed? And will we even be able to get this issue fixed? It's a step into the unknown for me. Stroll trying to defend from Sergio Perez behind me, back in towards turn 1. Will he just be able to hang on? I think Checo might have made the move. Stick there around the outside he goes. And now we're going to be under increasing pressure from the Mexican, and I think without DRS to defend ourselves, I don't fancy my chances. Not really too sure what we can do against Sergio at the moment. Lance Stroll now has lost the DRS to the cars behind him. I mean, look at that. That's like the real-life Red Bull in 2023. Lance Stroll is just going to keep losing places while the rest of Ocon is now snuck by, and Mick Schumacher, so I think he's let his teammate through. But of course, we can't really do anything to defend against these cars either, unless we can stay in the DRS of Checo, which I don't think is going to happen there. I mean, look how quickly you can pull away off the corners. It's like having a GP2 engine. Oh, okay. Sergio Perez into the pit lane then at the end of that lap, as well as Ocon behind us, so this works out quite nicely. Charles Leclerc also into the pit lane. Kind of forgot about where he was in this race, to be
Charles is in the pits.
completely honest with you, as that is not going to do us any favours either. We'll lose one place. I mean, that was not a particularly good rejoin by myself, but I wanted to try and hang on to as many places as possible. We'll lose one to Mick and one to Alex Albon. But this is, of course, the other thing. When you get this understeer, sometimes you find, of course, the car grips up in such a weird way that you get little moments like that as well. Just not our weekend, but how many times have I said that this season? We got race leader Valtteri Bottas into the pit lane, but Lando Norris was not far behind him. Really has been the perfect storm so far for Lando, of course, unless he'd just been able to take the lead at turn 1, but all those other cars are going to peel into the pit lane then, and I reckon Bottas has already got a pit stop margin over myself. We'll be re-emerging back out on the mediums. We might just get ahead of the Flying Finn, and yes we have, but I don't think we'll be ahead of him for very long there, as Piastri will also just about slot in front. So clearly the soft compound tyres can still extend quite far into this race, but we're back a bit of P2, but Lando Norris on probably the same strategy as me, 17 seconds up the road. That's how much time we're losing. So there we go, another gaggle of cars into the pit lane and at the end of 14. So it does mean we could go onto the softs a little bit earlier than originally predicted. What is the weather doing? Okay, well apparently any slim hopes we had of that is not happening today. Don't know whether that's better or worse for us, to be completely honest, because we know how ridiculous the AI can be on a dampening track. Oh, Bottas, no. No, don't do me like that. Bottas, just up the inside. He's got so much more grip, so much more pace. He's got a car that's not forced understeering as well on him. A Flying Finn back up into P2, and, well, I mean, we're just going to lose out so many places based on all these other cars getting an undercut, unless we get this issue fixed. Of course, we're not going to be able to get back past him because I've got no straight line speed either. Oh, there we go, Lando Norris then, actually coming in onto a set of hard compound tyres as we get to half distance in this Grand Prix. So I think this one, unless something crazy happens, is probably going to go the way of Valtteri Bottas there. Softer tyres right the way through to the checkered flag. Won't be out far in front of the Ferrari in his defence there. So Lando Norris has done incredibly well, but yeah, the fact that Lando's been able to pull a pit stop over myself goes to show just how much we're struggling there. We're still losing about 1.5 seconds a lap to Sergio Perez behind me. I'd kind of hoped that we could keep him at bay until the pit window, but honestly, I think it's going to be a miracle if we even score points here. That's just how much this damage is costing us. Yellow flags. Someone's got issues. I think that might be Lance Stroll breaking down. A safety car could really spice things up late on in the afternoon. I say late on, we're only a half distance. Mick Schumacher straight out of the Grand Prix, but it doesn't even look like we're going to get that. Rain still predicted then before the end of this Grand Prix, but it is going to be right at the end of this afternoon's running. But yeah, Perez now has really just romped up to the back of myself. Ocon as well will join him in that train. So can we try and keep the Mexican at bay? But I'm looking at the mini-map. We're not going to re-emerge in the points here, and well, we might try and see if we can try and find a way around some of the other cars. I mean, look at that understeer still. Perez almost gets up the inside. He does have a look up the inside there. We have to give him the room off the corner, and Ocon will suddenly say thank you very much, try and swoop around the outside there. There's contact between the pair of them. Ocon will now be through and up into P4 then of this GP, but can we try and keep the Frenchman at bay? No chance. Look at that. Look, we're even on the ERS there and we've still got nothing. As we head down in towards the next corner, we'll try and make it difficult for him as best as possible. Of course, had some beef with Ocon in the past in this series, if you remember. Of course, back in his Alpine days, but out of the final couple of turns. We're just going to say goodbye to positions here, aren't we? There's no real point defending from him either. Here goes Esteban Ocon, straight to the inside. Here comes Sergio Perez. Will he be able to make a move as well? Daniel Ricciardo even trying it. I mean, look at that. We're going to lose 3 places down at turn 1 by the looks of things. We'll try and hook it up around the outside. Still 3 wide off the corner. Perez will swoop through. Again, hit with some chronic understeer there as we get launched out over the curbing. But we'll only lose 2 spots in that moment. But now Charles Leclerc all over the back of me as well, as we're going to try and pit at the end of lap 23. But just how quickly the tables continue to turn on F1 22. I mean, the tables are continuing to turn upside down for me. We never got like a nice platter or anything like that. It's always all over the floor, smushed up in a mess. So, Ricciardo, yeah, of course. But just stick the nose in, mate. Why don't you, eh? Why not? Oh, come on, this thing's got no grip. Oh, this is such a bad race. Such a bad race there. I mean, we're going to be down into P17 and having him pit. Honestly, I'm tempted just to box and save the engine. We may as well put less mileage on it at the moment. I'm actually running out of fuel as well, I've just realised, so I'm not even convinced we'll be able to get to the end of this race in particularly good stead there. Charles had to pit, so he must have got caught out in that Ricciardo incident. And the fact the AI can just turn in on you and you get spam, but the AI try and chuck the nose in against you and you get spam, we really just cannot find any luck at the moment on this game. I mean, yeah, we're not going to score points here, are we? It is GG's, and like I said, I think we just got to save mileage on the engine. We're burning through more fuel than we possibly can as well. I mean, how are we getting parts issues when no components are over 10% wear in these races? This is the problem with the Mercedes components, and I'm not going to be sticking with them ready for Season 6 of this series. I'm more than happy to confirm that with you guys now. I don't know if it's the... well, it must be the tweaks Audi have made to it, because, well, it's not working for us, but no one else is really suffering this many mechanical failures, but I hate doing it, but there's no real point in us trying to finish off this race. We are nowhere at this stage of the afternoon. Clearly, these mechanical issues aren't going to get fixed, so even if we've got a safety car, we're still going to be at the back of the field with no chance of overtaking the other cars around us. Yeah, I think some days like today, I mean, I feel like I say it more often than not at the moment. It won't be knocked down as a mechanical failure, but it basically has been. We are out of the Dutch Grand Prix. I don't know what to do on this game at the moment. I really, really do not know what to do.
What a great race then, and a magnificent victory here at the Dutch Grand Prix. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we could talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those that we've witnessed today.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they secured here. So let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings. Lando Norris takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship. So then, Natalie Pinkham, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Definitely Guan Yu Zhou, isn't it? No matter what the rest of the field threw at him, he didn't put a foot wrong. Superb drive from him.
Let's move on to the constructors. No change in the top spot then, but with today's points, their hold on that lead is getting weaker. Meanwhile, a strong weekend from Red Bull this time out, and they improved their position in the championship. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Well, there we are then. Valtteri Bottas VB77, the two-time, the Flying Finn, whatever you want to call him on F1 22. He is back with Red Bull. Their first race victory for him in blue. Lando Norris just 3/10 away though in P2. I sure can't be too disappointed with that result there. And I think, yeah, Ocon, his first podium for McLaren as well. So all, you know, some very, very happy faces there on the podium come the end of the weekend. Perez in 4th ahead of Ricciardo. Stroll, despite the mechanical issues, well, I think he got his sorted, able to keep up and keep Zhou Guanyu at bay there. But you can see, yeah, Zhou Guanyu 19th to 7th, a miraculous job done by the second McLaren car. They really did have some good pace this weekend there. Gasly beats out both Alpha Tauris there. Both Williams narrowly missing out on points, but another disaster for Audi 212 there. Charles Leclerc P16, myself joining Mick Schumacher on the sidelines at the end of, yes, another very, very difficult weekend there. Championship-wise, Lando Norris 5 points clear now at the top of the table. 79 points back for us with 8 races to go. And I mean, yeah, at the moment, with the way things are going, maybe Bottas and Ricciardo and Ocon can still try and apply pressure to me lay on in this campaign there as well. Mick Schumacher dropping down the order after such a strong start to the year. He really has gone rather quiet there. And constructors-wise, Ferrari only 54 points back as we head in towards, I mean, we've got it's Italy and then we've got the flyaway season to finish off the campaign there. Red Bull and McLaren still trading places, trying to keep up for P3 overall. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching nonetheless. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourselves subscribed. Like I said, we won't be racing with Mercedes power units next year. We will be looking for a new engine supplier, whether that be Honda, whether that be Renault. Not convinced Ferrari will give us any power units, considering they're our biggest championship rival at the moment. But you never know. Crazier things have happened in Formula 1. But yeah, we will be back at the Temple of Speed very, very soon, of course. A couple of scenes of some of my best ever races on F1 22. Hopefully that can continue next weekend. But yeah, we will be back with more Formula 1 content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.